Hi folks, so we're trying a little something different in this class. We're doing narration, so if your feedback is important to us, so if you want, let us know how you liked or not liked the narration. We're just experimenting a little bit. Thanks. Here we are, class 5. Jimmy, nice to see you again.
Yes, it's nice to be here again on this glorious Friday afternoon.
I see that your favorite hockey team is the Buffalo Sabres.
Obviously, you need to get out a little bit more, Professor Kennedy.
You
have way too much time in this shop, and we will get you the hockey channel for Christmas
and
this year.
That's a bad word, right, for you, Buffalo? We like our fans in Buffalo. They don't get us wrong.
No, I like hockey all told. I could
right?
watch it. Doesn't matter. San Jose, Buffalo.
You're a big fan of the
God
Bruins.
forbid Montreal, though. But,
we won't mention that.
Okay.
Anyhow, so we're going to get going on Stuff in the Seat, which is a very important part of your arts and crafts chair, your open arm arts and crafts chair. So what we're going to do, Jimmy, is usually if you have some scrap cotton in your shop, not Dacron, cotton, we have to have something substantial to fill in these gaps right here.
Okay.
So let me just hold that up to the camera. So we have to fill those hollows in. We're going to do that with some cotton. The cotton's right behind you, Jimmy. So what I want Jimmy to do...
Brand new cotton?
Yeah.
No
we have some
way.
brand new cotton for you, which we prefer scraps. But kind of just go along here. Try to get at least one row, one layer, and then try to get a second layer on top. All right, Jimmy?
Okay.
I want to show the folks at home how you cut cotton. You don't cut cotton with scissors. What Jimmy's trying to do is find the tab. There's a tab that comes with the cotton that separates the layers. So what you want to do, Jimmy, is you want to just tear this is kind of ripped here, but you can use this piece, right?
You're gonna stuff
so
it
what
in.
he's going to take this piece and he's going to cut it down to about 4 inches, like so. And he's going to place that in. Actually, you know what, Jimmy? Fold that in half. Fold the 4-inch in half and just work it into the corners there.
Okay.
And then cut some more pieces to go all the way around. And you do have to go to the back too, okay?
Yeah.
Even though we didn't extend that. You know what to do? Leave the back open for now, okay? Don't do anything on the back. Just on the sides and the front, okay?
Okay.
Then I'll catch up with you. We're going to be motoring along today.
Really? Motoring along?
So do you know why we don't cut with the scissors in the cotton?
Oh, it's too thick. It's not one of those materials like a fabric. It's just
No, you
it's
could cut
bulky.
you could cut it easy enough. The reason is it leaves a ridge.
A what?
A ridge, like the cut. This is the cut side of the right here. This is the cut side of the cotton.
Oh.
You see, and it's kind of bulky. So when you do that with your scissors, it's not necessarily a good thing because what you want to do is feather the cotton. So you can't help but to feather the cotton when you use your hands to tear it.
Okay.
Doing a good job there so far, Jimmy.
Apprenticeships, you gotta practice in your off hours. You know that.
That's right. You're under a lot of pressure in front of that camera. All your fans are writing in. We had somebody write in that we want more Jimmy, and then somebody else said, is there anybody more handsome than him than you?
Oh, I got a fan club already. I love it.
That's right. how are you doing? You success with that first layer?
This came out
So,
well. Actually,
good.
there's 2 layers.
Good. Oh, this is the second layer. Great. What's your favorite book?
I like a Tom Clancy novel myself.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so-
popular. Already pin tackle, Jimmy?
I
You're so
am ahead of the
confident, huh?
game here today. I am.
Good for you. And did you cut this?
I cut that part right
Very
there.
good. You might want to pin tack the front, Jimmy,
First?
first. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're okay. The nice thing about muslin is that it's a good practice
It's
for your fabric, right? So when you're doing any type of work, you might want to pin tack it about every 2 inches, leave the corners open,
Okay.
and then cut it.
Okay.
But that looks good. You did good. I mean, you're gonna get away with it on that one, but on the fabric, we have to be careful.
Oh yeah.
Because
So
if we cut it and stretch, the cut's usually off. But that's good. You know what I like about this, Jimmy? It's doing exactly what I want. It's even and it feels good, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That
good.
third layer, I thought it was going to get away with 2.
Yeah. No, it looks good. 3 layers of cotton. That's a lot.
Is that normal? Would you say that's normal for?
It's normal for something like that. That had a big gully, and that's why 3 layers of cotton was what you needed. And we are going to put another layer on. So continue pin tacking, and what we're trying to do is create the seat portion higher than the deck, even on the muslin portion that we're doing. So it's always important to pin tack the front first and then cut around the posts. Always make sure it's secured first before you cut. Of course, it makes it a little harder to cut, but you cannot cut without it being secured in the front. So the cut is on this would be like the fabric too. You're going to go straight to the post, and then you're going to make a V cut. You're going to make small cuts each side. This is great practice, Jimmy, for when you do the fabric.
It came out pretty good, Kevin. I
What do you
gotta say
think?
that.
You like it?
Yeah. Trying to.
I'm going to give you a regulator. Regulators are kind of neat. If you don't have a regulator at home, you can use a knitting needle.
Okay.
Okay, but what you want to do, you can't do everything with your fingers, right?
Right.
So you can kind of tuck it. You could do a really neat job by tucking that in. Let me just turn this to the camera. Because what I want you to do, Jimmy, is remove, this is the nice thing about pin tacking, you guys, right? He can remove the tack very easily, and he can fold this under to get a pleat, right? Just like so. You can even work it to get it under a little bit more with the regular, right? And then get the pin tack in there again.
Okay.
Okay, so do that on all your corners. On the back side, what I want you to do,
Cut.
try cutting this at this angle, and try getting a pleat down here. Don't worry about this piece yet, okay?
Okay, what are we gonna do with the back?
But I'm going to show you actually. The back we're going to leave. We're gonna. If you remember, they had it blind tack. That's interesting.
Okay.
The fabric on the back is blind tack down here and then pulled forward. Or it would be a little easier if we just tack it and then run our trim over there. I think that's what they had.
Okay.
This is a tough transition here. I'm going to tell you that right now, right? It's very tough back here to overcome this transition. So what we're going to do, instead of blind tacking it, we're going to tack it right in here, okay, and draw it to the front. Work our seams, you'll see, and then we're going to cover this with a braiding. You'll see.
okay.
But now that I have the chip, I'm just going to do a little cut for you like that, right?
Okay. And bring it in.
So what that's going to do, you can work that, you can trim it up a little bit, repin tack that, try to neaten it up. What I want you to do is neaten up all your pleats, okay? You don't want the muslin to be peeking through anywhere. Like, I'll show you. This one here, you could trim and then tuck that in.
Okay.
You could trim this up and then fold it and repin and pin tack that. So just neaten it up a little bit, then I'll check your work, okay?
Okay.
Hopefully, you get it to a point where we'll just staple it down,
Oh, okay.
okay? So what you could do with this is just kind of trim that. Do you have your regulator?
It's over on your side with the cotton.
Okay. You just kind of tuck this in. What I'm going to do is go over this a little bit. Do a little finish work for you, okay?
Okay.
Just so you could take the back side of your regulator too and use it to kind of poke things in.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a little bit of a cough. So I think you're ready to do some stapling, but I want to show the best way to staple something like this. How about I do half of the side, and then you can do the other half, Jimmy. First of all, it's very important to get kind of eye level with this instead of stapling, standing up. So I'm going to move it this way.
Okay.
I'm gonna start here and then work like to the middle. Okay. And I want to show you this. I want to show people at home too. So on the muslin, this is good practice for your fabric. That's more like what a fabric pleat's going to look like.
Okay.
On your muslin, it's very important to hide that away from the edge so that it doesn't interfere with the fabric. This is a very important point.
Okay.
So this is this is probably worth the price of the class. Just this one showing this one thing. Okay, because if you keep it like that, you're going to struggle with your fabric to hide that white underneath your pleat.
You're right.
So the pleat's going to be pulled really tight, just like that.
Okay.
Now, I didn't say anything to Jimmy, but now is the time with the stapling, because it's more permanent, right?
Yeah.
To fix something like that. So what I'm going to do is, all I'm going to do, and he's going to try to do the other side like this. I'm going to roll the pleat a little bit, that's all, to get it away from the edge. Simple as that. And then I'm going to start stapling. I'm stapling about 1 inch or 2 underneath, right? From the top here. And you don't have to be chaining these staples. You can be like every inch. Okay, and then there's no problem here. There's not even a pleat, so that's okay.
Okay.
Now, this would be a problem for your fabric, right?
Because you're going to be bringing it right up to the edge.
You need on your cut. We're gonna slow down a little bit on your fabric when we get to the fabric portion, just so that make sure you have a pleat on both sides of this.
Okay.
So it looks good. So let's bring it around. So I'm gonna adjust this because I suspect that there's more muslin on this side. Okay, that might need a little bit. No, I don't think so. See, we just roll the pleat underneath and staple it. I see something. I'm gonna grab you a hand. I see something sticking up there. It could be an old tack. So now is the time to take care of things like that too, right? So you're just gonna fix that. So I'm gonna undo this, and then I'm gonna bring this way. I'm just gonna do a couple of staples there.
Okay.
Then up in here, you could practice a pleat if you want. So what I'm going to do is get a staple to the front like this.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to pleat over it like this.
Bring it down.
Right?
Okay.
And then Jimmy, this is great. I'm going to go right along here.
Wow.
Put a pass the gun off to you.
Pass the gun off to me. Wow.
Now, I'm going to give you the chair. Before you start stapling,
Yes.
I definitely recommend that you sit down to do this. Get a little bit more eye level. I'm just cleaning up your pin tacks a little bit. We'll reuse these pin tacks. Right? Let's make sure your bench is clean. You can take once you've done stapling, you can take all your tacks out and then put them back in the box like you normally would. But here, I'm going to give you this chair. Now, I want you to see what the difference is actually when you're stapling, Jimmy. Just sit down here. Gonna get a little above eye level sometimes is good.
Oh yeah, you get to
Is that better?
We were actually
It's a
stapling.
little safer too. So this is a little unusual chair on the back rail. It's a finished rail on the back. So we're not, if you notice, we're not going to go across with more padding, but we want to make sure that it's clear on the back here. There's a clear tacking line So I'm going to be rolling this underneath for Jimmy, and I'm going to staple that away from that wood piece, that finished wood piece on the back. And what's going to happen is it's going to get secured, and then we have to cover over it. I mean, the fabric's going to be secured, and then we're going to cover over it with probably a piece of double piping or a piece of gimp. So this is an unusual piece of furniture this way, and it can mix you up if you don't have patterns to go by or anything. But it's part of the we're stapling here just away from that back rail, both sides. See that? So see, we're clear here. We don't have anything in our way, so when we put our fabric on, it's a clear tack line, the same as would be underneath the chair. So feeling this looks good. I mean, this is where I want it. We're going to put another layer of cotton on here when we're ready to put the fabric on, but we'll get to that in a minute. We want the cushion to sit properly on this. So the one way to do that, the arms are going to hold it in, which is good. I'm going to cut around the arms. But having the seat portion or the muslin portion where you see higher is what locks the cushion in even more and makes it look good. Makes the transition from the cushion to the seat look better. So I want Jimmy here. I want him to trim this all up and get ready for the next step. So you may be wondering why we cut the muslin above and didn't bring it down below, because we want to keep that a really crisp, clean line. So oftentimes people overstuff the front edges and in this case the side edges. So we don't want to do that. See the profile here we have here? We want to keep to this profile. This is what we want to do. We don't want to overload it. We are going to take cotton over it eventually, but we don't want to profile and fight with the curves on the beautiful Queen Anne legs that you see on the front. That's what you would end up doing. So it's very important also to lines up with the cushion. See, so you don't want it overstuffed, so that we get a nice uniform look up and down and side to side, and we keep the nice curves of the Queen Anne legs visible, so we don't overpower those with another curve on top of it with the filling. So oftentimes when the filling is pulled over, too much filling is pulled over, it doesn't line up with the nice linear look of the cushion. And this chair is nice and tidy. So next week we're going to be doing the fabric, and here's what Jimmy picked. He picked pretty much a stripe. It's a floral, but we're going to call it a stripe. So it's a little challenging, Jimmy. We need to make sure we get all this up and down nicely and lined up. We just can't put it on any old way. I think we're looking forward to putting this on. Cutting the fabric next time is going to be a challenge, but I'll take you through the whole process. Oftentimes beginners should probably maybe pick a plain or solid fabric on most projects. But Jimmy, you've done this a couple of times, so I trust that you're going to do a good job on this. So we'll just take you through the process with the way we measure. As you know, we do it line by line. Give yourself 3 inches on overall, and we're going to cascade your fabric is going to be cascaded down nicely, and we're going to break it up into the body of the piece and then the cushion, and we'll do the cushion later. First, we're going to do the body. So next time, it'll be challenging, but it'll be great. You'll do a good job.
So the best way to do it, the most professional way to do this
Okay.
is to run a single pipe all the way around.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard, but it's the professional way, and I think that's what we should do.
Okay.
So when you see double piping, you could just double piping right around here to cover it, and that's
Yeah.
it. And then some people put a single piping here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit the easy way.
Okay.
We're going to do this a good way and
Okay.
a nice, really sleek looking way, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to do that. So let's start now. Let me get you some paper. I'm going to label everything for you, and I want you, to the best of your ability, Jim.
Oh, God.
Yeah. To the best of your ability.
Okay, you're asking for a lot here now.
I want you to fill in all these measurements. Okay? Let me just get a pen for you. Do you have a tape measure over there, Jimmy?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I'll grab it for you. We'll give you the one that works. Here you go.
The one that really works is just... No, that other one. Are those...
So I'm going to just bring this up to the camera just to show. So what, Jimmy, we're going to start with the inside back. Inside back. That's where you see the Dacron right now.
Mm-hmm.
And up and down and side to side for each section, right?
Okay.
2 measurements, right, Jimmy? Up and down, side to side for each piece. Inside back, outside back. Outside back. Front seat. I'm going to label this front seat. And I'm going to indicate with an arrow, like this. Also, Jimmy, I'm going to help you out here. With a little bit of I'm going to draw this for people at home. It's a little tip with your muslin. When you muslin something, you can use that. Some people like using I probably would recommend a pencil. I'm just looking for a straight edge, Jimmy. Excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, I got hit. So we're going to go right to there.
Okay.
Just to make sure, because our seam went off a little bit, but that's okay. See, we can't use our seam here. So this is
okay.
the angle that I want. Actually, and I'm going to come in right up there. Just draw right there. To be precise now, we have to be precise with the fabric, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right there, and draw a line here.
So we measure side to side in the seat. We're going to try to miter. We're going to miter these. Draw a line to the back. Now, Jimmy, your job is going to be to measure. Okay. Always make sure that when you're looking at a seat like this, that the top, as you're looking at the side down here, the stripe will run up and down to match the boxing of the cushion. Okay, so let's put the cushion in to show you. The stripes are going to come down from the back, vertical to the
cushion, vertical to the front boxing, vertical to the seat, and also on the sides, it's going to be vertical. I'm going to finish up our labeling. And then, Jimmy, you're going to try to put all these measurements, fill in the empty spots, and add 3 inches overall to each one. Don't worry that some aren't going to be perfect. I'm going to check them all for you. So I'm trying to get you used to measuring. We have everything labeled. You got 2 measurements for each piece, and don't sweat it. Just go through it and do the best you can. I'm looking more to make sure that you've got the direction of the fabric in the right place rather than correct measurements, believe it or not. So I'm trying to orientate you to your fabric to the chair. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to check all your measurements, Jimmy. You're going to hold on to the paper. If you need to fix any, just let me know. Or just write them in. I'm going to give you these. Now remember, I'm measuring to where I think it's being tacked, and I'm adding 3 inches to that measurement, okay? That's the up and down measurement. And then I'm going to measure side to side. The reason that we oversize them is so that you have enough to stretch. A lot of times people use patterns, the old patterns, and they don't have enough to stretch. That's a problem. You can't stretch something that's cut as a pattern. People have to remember that's been cut on the chair after it's been stretched. So remember that's important.
I was too generous.
Yeah. So let's go to your front seat. And you know what? I forgot one category, Jimmy. I just realized.
What's that?
I want you to put deck down here. We forgot the deck. But let's first go in order. What's the next one you got?
Front seat.
Front seat. Okay, I'm going to go from the seam to underneath here. I got 9 inches plus 3. So we got to go 12, right?
Okay.
So now side to side, this is where some people make a mistake, right? You want to go from here, right? Your furthest point, because we're only doing rectangles, right?
Okay.
We're oversizing this in the beginning. We're not trying to fit the fabric on this at this go. That's for the next go, right?
Okay.
So if you can hold that right there for a minute, I'm going to go from this point here to this point over here. It's 25 plus 3 is 28. What did you have to check? Side to side, 28.
Well, I measured from here to here. I did not. I had 26.
So a lot of people do that. They just go over the edge, but this is your furthest point. So I always want to go from your furthest point. So it's 28 altogether. So on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you get up and down on the side?
I had 7 inches.
Okay, that's way too little. Okay, that's the same as I got 9 plus the 3, so 12 inches up and down.
Wow, way off.
I just want to make sure that I just want to show the camera the categories here. So it's really important to make sure that you're getting all your measurements in the right spot. Okay, you don't mix up measurements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where was I? On the side to side on the sides, what did you get? This is a tough one.
That one I didn't measure. No, I didn't measure that.
I'll tell you why it's tough. It's hard to see where it's, so it's going from here, right? And then you have to measure to here. It's kind of hard to get your tape measure in there. So I got 23 plus 3 is 26.
Okay.
26 side to side on the sides.
Okay. That one I did have, the one you did where the 28 was
So the only thing we got left is the deck. I just want to hold this up like this.
Okay. And the deck starts from where, the back of the chair?
Let's do the front to back measurement first. Right?
Okay.
So it's 19 plus 3. I'm going to go 22 inches.
Okay.
Front to back. You might want to write that down. And side to side, seam to seam, or line to line, it's 15 plus 3 is 18.
Okay.
It was actually, just a little tip for people, it was actually 14 and a half. But what I would suggest for people is never go half inches on this. Always round it up to the higher number.
That way you get a little extra play?
No, the main reason you do that is so it's easy to work the math out when you're on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You got it laid out, you got your fabric laid out.
Okay.
It's easier to reference whole numbers than it is fractions on
Yes.
the table. Unless you're a genius like yourself.
Yeah, right, that's why I
But-
got,
when you have, let me just show the camera. When you have a tuxedo sofa, you'd appreciate this, right? There's 4 pages full of numbers.
right,
And your goal at that point, which will be your goal with this, is to make best use of the fabric with these measurements.
Okay.
Especially the side-to-side measurement if you have a fabric that's running like yours, up and down like yours is.
Mm-hmm.
So your goal is mathematically to figure out the best use of the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible, almost all furniture with fabric that you get, even if you over-order, to run out of fabric if you just cut and go. We never do that. So we figure it out first. We take the time to figure it out on paper first, make sure we have the proper measurements, and then go to the cutting table.
okay.
Okay, but before we do that, I know that I said, so we have everything, we have all our measurements. Remember I said, let's save the cushion for last?
Yes.
Let's do the cushion now.
Oh, okay,
Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna break this up. We're gonna get all your cushion measurements,
okay,
right? On a separate piece of paper. And then next week, we're gonna come in fresh and do your cutting, okay?
oh,
So I think I feel like we're gonna overload people if we go right to the cutting now, which will be a fine segue at the end of the cushion.
yeah, a segment,
So
okay,
let's push this away.
okay,
Let's get your cushion up here. So Jimmy has a cushion that has a cutout in it. It goes with 2 cutouts. There's a cutout in the back, and it has a cutout in the front of where the arms are, which we're probably not going to use this as a pattern. You know, we could try and see what it looks like as a pattern, but I suspect that we might have to cut our own pattern, but that's later on too. Right now, we want to cut this oversized, the same way we did here with one exception, okay? We're going to go, on some of these are going to be exact measurements, and I'll explain that in a minute. And the cushion top and bottom, we're only going to oversize it 2 inches, you guys. 2 inches, not 3 inches, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to do the same thing, Jimmy. I'm going to label, I'm going to get another piece of paper for you here. Do you have that pen?
I do, trusty pen,
So we're going to go up and down, just like we did on the other one, side to side. I'm going to draw a line in the middle here. I'm going to draw a line this way, and we're going to write top and bottom. That's the cushion. That's one measurement for both of those. They're both are going to be the same.
okay,
And then boxing. And then I'm going to write exact here. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute.
so you did,
Then
the
I'm
only,
going to write zipper. And then I'm going to write exact. That's an exact measurement. And then down here, we're going to put piping.
oh,
Piping for cushion. 2 pipings, that'll be for the top and the bottom.
okay,
And then while we're at it, we're going to put outside back piping on here too, okay?
and are you gonna measure out the bottom too as well, or is that gonna be for another?
No, you already have the measurements for that.
Oh, okay,
Oh, you mean the cambric?
the piping, I mean, the piping you're gonna,
Oh, right, we have piping on the bottom too, Jimmy, thanks for reminding me. Base, that's called a base welt or a base piping, right?
okay,
Piping, we'll call it. We don't need it on the back,
okay,
right, because you have the wood on the back. It's just
Right.
gonna run from that back rail all the way around the front. Good
Okay.
thinking. So I think I'm gonna have you fill in
no,
these
not
measurements.
this,
Keep in mind, this is what I want, okay? The top and bottom, you're gonna add 2 inches,
okay,
okay? On the boxing, I'm gonna have you measure from seam to seam and add 1 inch,
okay,
1 inch, and then measure it all the way around, okay? Measure to where the zipper is.
now, when this is actually gonna be a cushion again, is this gonna be gone?
No,
No.
We need to cut it out. Actually, it's a good idea to cut it out to lock the cushion in there. So you're not worried about that yet? You're only,
No, I was just wondering. I didn't know how.
It will be.
I didn't know if it was going to be a little bit of a twist to it or.
No, it's going to be just like that.
Okay.
We may be able to use that as a pattern. We don't know yet. So to the best of your ability, I think you might have some questions on that. But what I want you to do is just fill it in as best as you can. Okay?
Okay.
Just try to reason it out. And I'll be right back.
Okay, Kevin, I got too many questions for you. Got lost in the measurements.
I know. You know what I'd like to do, Jimmy, on this one? Because this is a little bit of a mystery for a lot of people. Cushions. There's a lot of components to a cushion, right?
Okay.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to check your measurements. I'm going to just measure the whole thing and,
Okay.
and see what we got.
Show where we
Yeah,
need
and
to
then
go.
if you have any questions after that, you can ask them. Okay.
Okay.
First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the cushion front to back, right? And I'm going to just go to seam to seam. It's 23 plus 2 inches. I have 25 inches.
26.
Okay, 26 would do it, you know, but we're slimming them down just a little bit. So
Okay.
about 25. And then side to side, what did you get?
27?
That's good.
Okay.
So that's going to be for 2. Did you see how I got a little 2 over there? The
Yeah.
top, well, I say top and bottom.
Right.
So that you know you need two. You need 2 pieces. So now, what about the boxing? Did you get up and down on the boxing? I'm just curious. What did you get?
That was 6.
So you oversize that. What I'm gonna ask you to do, you don't really have to oversize you don't have to cut your boxing twice.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you the exact measurement. So you're gonna put down, it's 3 inches seam to seam. You need a 1/2 inch seam on each side, so that's gonna be 4 inches.
Okay.
But I want you to note on that, put 4,
Okay.
and put a little asterisk next to that saying exact, so that when you're cutting it, you can't be as carefree on that measurement as you can be on the other measurements.
Okay.
The other measurements, you can bother to square it up, and you don't have to be exact, though. You do have to be exact on this. You do need to make sure that that's straight, okay?
Okay.
But we're trying to eliminate one cut on that. It's a good idea, actually.
Could you give it a little bit more?
Well, if you
on
do
the-
it more, you're gonna have to cut it down.
Okay.
And cutting down something that thin is a little bit difficult, so that's why I want you to cut that exact.
Ah,
Do you
okay.
see what I mean? It's a good point. So all the way around now, what did you get all the way around to where the zipper starts? Just curious. See, the zipper's right here. What did you get, Jimmy? You're gonna go in and out of these little cutouts.
Yeah, that was a pain.
So what did you get?
That was up to 60 right there?
So I got 38 plus 38 is 72, plus I want to give 4 inches, so 76 inches. We're giving 4 inches, so folks, we're measuring from where the zipper starts here all the way around, and we're adding 4 inches. So it's 76, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the math on that again. I think I'm wrong. 38 plus 38 is 76, plus
the
4
4
inches
is
is 80. So it's good to make sure you double check your numbers. So now, you have your top, you have your bottom, you have your boxing. Now let's give them the formula. There's a formula to figure out what this measurement is. You need two portions of the zipper, right?
Okay.
So what you do here, Jimmy, is you add 1 inch to the boxing measurement and divide that by 1/2. Okay? I'm sorry, did I say? So that's 4 plus 1 is 5. Divide that in half, that's 2.5 inches.
Okay.
So 2.5 inches on each zipper. So
Okay.
make that 2.5 inches is this measurement, up and down, right?
Okay.
And then side to side, you want to give yourself a little bit longer. Like at 19, you want to go about another 3 inches on that. So
Okay.
22.
Okay.
So now let's do the piping. What's the next piping measurement?
That one I didn't.
That's the cushion, right? So let's go all the way around.
Yeah.
All the way around. I'm going to go halfway around, which is 50 inches plus 50. It's 100 inches plus 4 inches, so 104 inches.
Wow.
And you need 2 of those. 104 inches, and you need 2.
208 total.
Huh?
208 total.
So I suggest don't total out your piping, you guys. Another good inquiry by Jimmy. So you might be wondering, why doesn't he just take one linear measurement? The reason I don't want to do that is I don't want any seams. If you take one linear measurement, you cut all your piping for that linear measurement, you're going to have seams in odd places along that if you just sew one piping.
You're right.
So what we're doing is breaking it down so that we may be able to, on your fabric, if we're careful with the cutting, we may be able to take it all the way around in a certain area, like up one side of your fabric, so you don't have any
breaking
seams.
it down to, like you say, 2 or 3 different spots.
Yeah, you might have a seam here, seam here, seam here. You have to. We want to do a good job, right? So that's the up and down the cushion. If you could ask questions in a minute, Jimmy. So I know you have a couple of them. So I'm going to go across here.
Right.
So this one here, the halfway point is 35 plus 35 is 70. Give yourself 4 inches on that.
Okay.
74 inches. Now, we have the outside back, right? Which is the last measurement for your chair. So we're going to go start in the middle here. This is going to have a piping down here too, by the way. It's going to go all the way around. It's going to frame that out nicely. 42 and 42 is 84 plus 4 inches, 88. 88 inches. And all these are going to be cut 2 inches wide, by the way. All your pipe is going to be cut 2 inches wide.
Why is that?
Okay? 2 inches is that's all you need to wrap around the corner.
Oh, okay.
So, do you have any questions, Jimmy? Do you think you could do that alone at home?
Duh, no.
It's a little
Measuring, I
complicated.
need a class in the measuring, I swear to God.
Well, you just got one. You got a good class. And you know what? You're going to do a good job next time. when you go to cut the fabric. Now, Jimmy, just to throw a little anxiety in there, and I don't mean to do this.
You mean I have to start popping my medicine?
But it wasn't me that picked out your fabric, remember that. So Jimmy has a fabric that has a center on it. So he has to, next week, that's why I want to start fresh next time with Jimmy, because he has to get that stripe, it's pretty much a stripe, even though it's a floral vine, let's call it a stripe. He has to get that in the center, and he has to make sure that that goes all the way up and down the chair. So that's his challenge next time. So, Jimmy, do you have any other questions for today?
No, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
So great. We'll see you next week, guys. I think Jimmy's very photogenic. He might win Miss Congeniality of the...
Mr. Congeniality, let's not go